everybody. Welcome back to the Divergent Comics podcast. I am back again with an indie comic creator interview. This one kind of came up because I had been reached out to by another creator, part of the same imprint, Bird's Eye View Comics, and he was like, "Hey, like I have another creator who would be great to come on." I was like, "Okay, bet, like send him my way." So he had Chris over here fill out the information, and I got to read the book, the first book of Hatui, and I was just like, "Okay, this is gonna be a fun talk because I actually really enjoyed this story. I thought it was something that was very different from what I've read before, but it also gave me some additional vibes of some like kind of a 90s type action thriller,
That is my
which
area.
reminded me. I could feel it. So I definitely want to talk about that to some degree. But Chris, welcome to the podcast. Can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Man, thanks for having me. Well, that's like as far as questions are concerned, like what do you want to know exactly? Like how I started drawing, period, or just this story, just to centralize it.
Let's start with what made you want to start making comics?
Well, like you said, the '90s era, that was the one that really got me going. High school, that era, and going to high school. When you come out of grade school and you're an artist, you think you're pretty good, but then you get to the higher grades and you realize you ain't got nothing going. So I had to practice, and especially I got around a group of friends who was around who enjoyed doing the same thing as me,
Right.
and I saw their skill sets. And I said, "Wow, I got to step it up." And that's how it started. And plus, I started working at this youth working program called Gallery 37 back in the day here in Chicago. It's not around anymore,
Okay.
but it was a youth program where your arts would be put to the test and you would get paid for it. So it was a summer job program, and it was great. And that's what helped
Okay.
me. That's another thing that helped me enhance my skills over the years, and of course, some time in college as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when you start first like getting into something that you're interested in and you start to notice, okay, I might be pretty solid, and you, especially if you're like around a bunch of people who are like adequate or maybe slightly below adequate, you're like,
Exactly.
dang, I might be, you start to feel yourself, and then once you get to that next level and you start to be up against some of the bigger dogs, it's like, okay, that kind of like humbles you a bit, and it kind of puts a lot of things into perspective. But I think it also forces you to improve your craft, forces you to work a little bit harder. And so I can, at least from being able to look at the first book that you did for Hatui, I can tell that you've taken a lot of time and care to hone your craft and put in that work to make this as good as possible.
28 years to be exact.
Oh man, that's nice. That's a long time.
Yeah, and the reason why it took so long, since a lot of people might have asked me, like, Chris, why did it take so long to put your stuff out? I had to live. I had to go through relationships, job change, ups and downs within that, get married, have a kid,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if you look at some of my artwork, I actually put a picture of Hatui, how I used to look around '04, and then right
Okay.
coincide on 2024. There's a big difference. So it shows
Yeah.
the
I
growth
mean,
within the character and myself.
yeah. I I was having a conversation earlier today. We're recording on a Saturday, and the the conversation was basically the cliche of life influences your art,
Absolutely.
and you do this thing long enough, you start to realize how just life experiences and living can change either how you approach your art or can improve upon how you approach your art. And so things like that, I guess, adds more weight.
Spice.
Yeah,
Add more spice to
that is
it
true.
to the gumbo.
That is true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, actually, with that, it's just I was always drawn in between, but I slowed down to live a little bit, I guess. And
Yeah.
what got me started really getting back to my art again? Fighter. I was playing my little, because I'm a truck driver. I was playing my little PSP. I made my own little tournament out of it.
Yeah.
Said, let me see what would happen if I just draw the characters as I see them in my mind when they win. And if you look on my TikTok, I got a lot of that,
Hmm.
and that's what
Yeah.
that's what helped me bring me back to where I am now.
That's nice. I like that. So let's kind of pivot a little bit. This is something I've never done on the podcast before, so I want to do something completely new and unique. And it kind of was spur of the moment type of thing that happened this week. I was uh, testing out some ideas on threads. I get on there sometimes and I'll just like share some thoughts or make a random question of the day type thing and kind of see how things work out. And something I did on threads this week that kind of just like blew up a little bit was I made a post asking for people's top three favorite vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not expect people to just like start listing off vegetables like out the wazoo. But it was fun, and it made me think like maybe I should do something like that on the podcast. So, Chris, I'm bringing this question to you.
Let's go.
What are your top three favorite vegetables?
Hmm. Broccoli, carrots, and green beans.
You know what? That's a respectable list. Those are basically the go tos for most people because they have virtually no way of being messed up. Like you can cook them any way, steamed.
Somebody can mess up things. If people can mess up cereal, they can mess up anything.
Oh man, that is true. That is true.
How
I
you
mean,
burn
the
cereal?
margin
I
of
don't
it,
know.
the margin of error is pretty small.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're right. Like people can mess that up. So I like it. I think though, like I said, I think those are kind of like the typical go-to just because of the fact that they are really simple, but they also like carry a lot of flavor in and of themselves. So I like that. When you're getting ready to write or when you're getting ready to draw your stories, what helps you get in that zone?
just remembering where I came from and remembering
Mm,
all the dope stories I've seen over the years. I'm like, I got to make something as impactful as that. You know what I mean? And it always
mm-hmm.
stayed in the back of my mind, even when I wasn't drawing. I always had, even when I'm just bopping around and working and doing whatever, I always had that. I never forgot it.
Yeah,
It was like a itching, like a burning, like a prodding, like don't forget
yeah,
this, don't forget this. You know what I mean? And so
right.
over the years, it just helped me bring to life. And my friend Corey, the leader of
Mm-hmm.
Bird's Eye View Comics, he already started his own company, had his own thing going. He said, "Hey, Chris, I think it's time for you to come on over and put your book out." And I said, "This is God right here. Yep,
Yeah,
it's time." So now I'm 3 issues in.
that's perfect actually because Hatui is I think a great story for people who want to get into comics because it's not your typical superhero story, but it's also not like the tip like a slice of life type story. It's kind of a mix of like the action adventure, almost thriller type stories that you get, like we talked about at the beginning from like those 90s type movies and TV shows. So, can you kind of give us a little bit of insight into like what Hatui the Infamous, the 3 issue series so far, is about?
The story takes place in a futuristic Earth post-war, and
Hmm.
mankind always playing around with things they're not supposed to. They wind up making this subrace called the Eutherians, which is hybrids between humans and animals.
Hmm.
And now the Eutherians realize that they don't have to be, you know, they don't have to be slaves to these people, so they start uprising against them, as you could imagine. So now they're having a war with them. And there's a peace treaty that comes into play, and now the parts of the country that are occupied by them, that's theirs, and we have ours.
Hmm.
And the way, and of course, there's to combat this. The last governments that are left, they said, look, we need to combat this, and so that's why they have the gifted ones, and Hatui has inherited that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he's going to be the light of the human race, the hope.
Okay.
Inadvertently, because he didn't want to. But
Mm-hmm.
as time goes on, he realizes I can really change things if I just put my talents to use.
Yeah.
So I have this tournament called the Titan Tournament where the Eutherians battle each other, and he's going to be the first one to go in.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up because towards the end of the book, of the first book, they talk about the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and they mention how the tournament is, or one of the governors mentions how the tournament is it for like the Eutherians' way of satiating
Blood.
their bestiality or their primal
Yeah.
urges, or is it for us? And so like having that meta commentary, because there's a lot of political undertones with that conversation.
I'm glad
It
you caught that.
reminds me a lot of the Hunger Games,
Mm.
with the idea of making the districts send in their young to fight and things of that nature. So thinking about that and really seeing how the story flows from just this, when we first meet Hatui, where he gets this case about a missing husband. He goes and finds this whole situation. I'm not going to spoil it for everyone because I want y'all to go read it.
Yes, please.
But that case, that case ends up leading into the end of this, the first book, where they talk about the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Was it always your intention to have those type of political undertones when writing, or was it just one of those things where as you developed the first part of the story, it just became apparent that that's where you were going to go?
100%. You knocked it right on the head. That's exactly what I thought of, even way back in the early 2000s. I always kept that
Mm-hmm.
political undertone within that story because I knew that was going to be the glue that holds it together and what draws the
Mm-hmm.
people in. And it's a reflection of what's going on now. So,
Which is so funny, from because you wrote this all the way back in the early 2000s. That just says a lot about either how predictable the world is, or just how crazy everything has gone, to the point where a story that had been started 20 plus years ago is already talking about what's going on
oh yeah, it's a combination of both. You got it. You got it.
now. I love it. Um,
What's the
so
song
the
by
name,
Ab Soul called? It's getting crazier and crazier
it
and crazier.
is.
Yeah.
So I love the name Hatui.
Thank you.
It sounds African. Is that where it comes from? Some form of African dialect?
I'm glad you brought that up. I actually, when I created Hatui, it was really me and a friend. We were playing, get this, we were playing X-Men versus Street Fighter back in the day. And he would always make fun of the way Hakuma used to do it, and doing all that and mixing it
Yeah.
with Dragon Ball Z. It was a sound effect, essentially. It was a sound effect.
Mm,
And I put a
gotcha.
body to him. And it just went on
Uh,
from there back in 1998, man.
that is crazy. I love it, actually. So we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to like dive deeper into it. The story of Hatui is already 3 issues in, but like what what was the inspiration behind writing this specific story about this, I guess, really hired gun solving crimes initially, that turns into this whole thing about a tournament and this political story?
Um, well, I was always, like I said, I was always messing with the idea of putting them together that way. And I said, how am I going to get people to just read into it as opposed to anybody else? I mean, people are going to
Mm,
choose whatever title they want, but you
yeah.
always have to put your own spice on things. So I said, just keep working on it, and your ideas will flow. And I, like I said, even when I wasn't drawing it, I always thought about it. So I said,
Hmm.
just keep working on it. It's gonna work out. It, it has to work out. It has to. That was my main motivation. It has to work out because I can't.
Hmm.
For some reason, this title is what kept me going. To want to keep drawing
Hmm.
period over everything.
I I get that. Like, there's often times where there's like a certain story that just kind of like gnaws at you, and you just can't let it go, no matter how often or how many times you kind of walk away from it. It just
Absolutely.
keeps coming back. So, how challenging is it to be the artist and the writer for the story?
Um, it's not really challenging for me. It's just the amount of how much you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Necessity. You can't afford this guy. You can't afford that guy. You can't afford that guy. You have to do it all yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And us being as black people, that's what happens to us most of the time. Like we had to find our own way. Even
Yeah.
artists from way back then, they had to do everything on their own. Then people saw what they were capable of doing and said, okay, let me help out. You know,
Yeah.
you put your best foot forward and you never know what happens.
That is true. Yeah. Was when you were going through the process of coming up with this story, was it always a thing where you were just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to draw it myself, I'm not even going to try to hire an artist? Or did it just kind of like come up as a, you know what, I've been studying drawing, I can do this?
Oh, that thought never came to my mind. Like I didn't want nobody to do anything to my character. But as I get older, I'm like, you know what? And now this kind of expanding. I say, you know what? I wouldn't
Mm,
mind having somebody do like a side story here and there, some fan art. That'd be
mm.
great.
I feel you on that. I think it adds an additional layer of passion and complexity when you have a writer artist doing the story, because the way that some of the pages flow and the way that some of the dialogue kind of flows into the art. Like there's one specific scene that I'm going to have to spoil it because it had my jaw to the floor
I
when I
think
saw
I
it, but it
got an
was
idea of what you might bring up. Go ahead, brother. Mr.
when
Derek,
when
go ahead.
he
I'm
was
all please.
when Hatui was at the bar, and the fight breaks out, and he's getting ready to leave, and dude starts talking back to him, talking smack, and he's like, since when did the toilet talk? And he just, pees on the guy. This is like things like that. I think you can get with another artist, but I think having your own art style be there, especially the way it was drawn, just kind of changes not necessarily the meaning, but like the feeling and the vibe of that page and that panel.
Yeah, that I know exactly what you mean because as he turned around, like you said, he was talking crap like you people and that you black people. You can't say you people to black people. So he turns around
Right.
like, okay, you want to keep talking? I never seen a talking toilet before.
It's so cool how you were able to mix a lot of comedy in with the story, with it being an action type thriller. It, like I said, it definitely reminds me a lot of like those '90s action stories where you get a little bit of comedy, nothing too over the top, but it's slightly campy, but the action is just so thrilling. It kind of keeps you drawn in. When you were doing that, the outline and the story and everything for this, was it like a foregone conclusion for you to add or make this in black and white, or was it just one of those things that you just decided, I'll probably come out better doing this black and white than trying to make it in color?
um, not exactly because I've seen a lot of our guys who do their own coloring and things like that, and I said, wow, this is my plan. I'm going to start off
Mm-hmm.
black and white for the initial issue, but when I do the trade, I'll have it colored.
Mm,
That's the
that
plan.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm
Well, I
doing
mean, I
comics on a
guess
budget, so
trust me, I get that.
yeah.
So, since we're already talking about trades, how far do you see how to it going?
I got to go into issue 10 to really finish up this first story arc.
10 issues, nice. Do you have like multiple story arcs planned, or is it just like you're taking it one story arc at a time?
Um, I have a lot of things going on in my head because, like I said, 28 years. There's a lot of side projects that you've been having in your head. I'm pretty sure you understand that. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to do a couple of origin stories for other characters. And in issue 4, I actually have I'm actually explaining how the world came to be briefly, about 6 pages long. And if you go on my TikTok, you see I got a spreadsheet, I got a 2-page splash that I did.
Mm.
and it has like
Nice.
yeah, I ain't gonna say too much, but there's a mushroom cloud involved. I'll say that.
Okay, that's interesting. We're gonna definitely talk about that mushroom cloud next time I have you on for sure.
Okay. Oh, there's a next one. That's a
Oh
next
yeah,
one.
like once you come on once, like you got a forever invite to be on this podcast.
Oh man, this I like this comic drink champs. I like this. I like this a lot.
Nice. So, I mean, you've already talked about it multiple times. You have a lot of stories going on in your head. You have a lot of things that you've planned out. Are there any other stories outside of Hatui that you can talk about that you're thinking of bringing to us?
Not at this time, but I really it's like everything I created back in the day, I'm bringing in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I
I
like it.
remember the saying, "Keep it simple, stupid." So don't
Yeah,
put too many things in too many irons in the fire at once. Just kind of centralize it, simplify it, then put it out.
I like that. That's perfect. So, I'll say a couple more questions and I'll let you go. I don't want to keep you on too long, but
I'm loving
one
it.
of my
I'm loving it. Thank you.
yeah, not a problem.
It's
Thank you for
nice to
coming
be
on here too.
interviewed. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's nice to
Very
be
good.
interviewed for something that you've been working on for a long time.
It's different, right? Like when you finally get to that point where you are able to release a story or finally get your passion project out and you
Yeah.
have someone interested in like talking to you about it, it I guess releases a pent up passion that you didn't realize you had, right?
Yeah, it's not really not a passion that you didn't know you had. It's just a passion that you didn't put time into.
Yeah, that's a better way of explaining it. I recently finished doing a press tour, so to speak, for my last comic, Nighthawk, and it was just so different being on the other side of the interviews. You know, I'm used to asking the questions, getting people to give me their information and stuff, and then having to kind of go the other way. It's just so different. So yeah, it's it's nice to be able to finally get that out and be able to talk about something that you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
So, one of my last questions for you is: do you have uh, any, or have you, I guess I should say, been to any Comic Cons? And if you have, or if you have not, do you plan on going to any?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I've been to several, and I've been there to sign my own stuff. My first one was in Lafayette, Indiana, back in 2024, and
Okay.
it was so amazing to actually be on the other side instead of just being a fan. Well, you're still a fan,
Mm-hmm.
that you're actually giving stuff out. And I
Yeah.
sold a lot of books that day for number one. I was happy about that. And what made it even specialer, it's not a word. I'm stamping it. My wife and daughter came with me, so it was a grand
Oh,
experience.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that is absolutely amazing.
and
When you can have people that
absolutely.
like can support you be there.
And one of the last Comic Cons I went to, it was in
Mhm.
Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, I've been around
Oh
Madison,
wow.
Wisconsin, and at one point, me and Corey were just mobbed by a lot of fans that just wanted to come over and see what we were doing. I'm like, oh man, we almost ran out of books that day.
No, that's insane. I think. Are you familiar with Concrete Comics?
It started with a K or C.
K.
Yep, I have heard of them.
So I got to see them for the first time at C2E2 back in 2025 last year. For people who aren't familiar, C2E2 is Con, Comic and Entertainment Expo. Um, I think they mentioned that they almost ran out as well when they were like their first day at C2E2 last year.
Mm.
So that's insane.
We're definitely trying to go to C2E2 next year.
It's a huge con. I've been once. I met quite a bit of comic creators there.
Yeah, I went with my
Um,
wife once, and we it was expensive just to go in as a fan.
yeah, I think me and my girlfriend we spent. Let's see, I think it was almost 300 per ticket. I think, when we went last year, or it may have been about 300 for both tickets. I can't remember exactly, but I know while we were there in Chicago specifically, just to get food and travel and stuff, we spent almost $1,000 just for the 3 days we were there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, Chicago's a great city, but it's definitely expensive.
Yeah, I know. This $5
um,
mess is not hitting. It is really not hitting.
no, not at all. Not at all. So one more question. This is more, I guess, kind of on the serious side. But if, say, you're at Comic Con, you have a table, and you have a new comic creator or someone who wants to be a comic creator come up to you and ask, what is one piece of advice you would give them as a comic creator? What would that one piece of advice be?
Don't give up. Never stop. Always evolve. And be ready to take criticism. But don't let that be a detriment. Just let it help build your character and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Stay positive. I actually had somebody come up to me and want to, be part of the team. I'm like, wow, I'm actually looking at a portfolio right now on this
Yeah.
side. And he was
How did that turn out?
He was so like timid, like, I know you guys get a lot of people come. I'm like, no, you're the first. But I said, wow, I'm on this side now. This is crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
I gave him some pointers, and
Okay.
me and Corey told him what to work on. Just stay in touch. Because I'm not going to be mean to anybody because I know what it's like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, that's huge, to have someone come up and actually ask that question. I've had, I went to, I think the last Comic Con I went to was Baltimore Comic Con in 2024, as a vendor, and I had someone come up and ask me like how to get started making comics and things like that. And usually I give them the basics, but um, I think everyone just needs that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of push to be like, yeah, just keep going. So I like that.
I think every artist has a click in their brain when it's time to create something. It's like, okay, here's a pocket, stay in there. There's another pocket,
Yeah.
stay in there. There's a pocket, improve on this, and it's fun. It's work
It
if
is.
you love it. Like the
That
old
is true.
saying goes, if it doesn't, it's not really work if you're having fun with it. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, I agree. So, Chris, this has been fun. I've really enjoyed this. I got one more question for you, then I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, come on, yeah.
This is this is a fun one. I hope that you give me something good to work with.
Oh boy.
So, you get the opportunity to write or rewrite any comic book series that you want. What would that comic book series be that you would rewrite?
A series that I would love to rewrite. That's a good question.
Right?
It's a very good question. I would have to say Ninja Turtles. I'd have to say that.
Oh, that is a good one.
Because
That
that
is a
was
real
the
good one.
nucleus that made me want to get into comics in the first place. It was that. 1987. As soon as I will never forget. I was sitting in my parents' house, of course, and I was watching TV, and these four turtles that's fighting just pops up on the TV. I'm like, what is this? And I was glued ever since then.
Yeah, I feel like Ninja Turtles doesn't get the love of being like a really good comic series like some of the other like lesser known Marvel DC type stories get. So like I think about Spawn. Spawn has been getting a lot of love over the last few years, especially since there was talk. I don't think it's still happening now, but there was talk that Jamie Foxx was going to be part of the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Spawn gets a lot of love. Hellboy gets a lot of love. Like those type of comic properties, but I don't think Ninja Turtles gets as much love as it should.
Especially the one back in the day when they were all red and they was trained to kill.
Oh yeah. That one kind of gets lost in memory. So, Chris, this has been fun. I've really enjoyed, just being able to talk to you about your story, about you as a writer and an artist. Um, before we close out, can you tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and get more of your work?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. On Facebook's my name, Christopher Bickham, and on TikTok and on TikTok and I'm 46. I'm 46. My mind's starting to go. I know. I just turned, and now it's starting to go. Instagram. Instagram is Chris
Gotcha.
Infamy.
Yeah.
Chris Infamy 80. That's
Nice.
Chris _INFAMY at 80 at Instagram or TikTok.
Appreciate it, Chris. All the links to Chris' socials will be down below. Go check out Hatui. Again, there's 3 issues out, so you should all go read all 3 of them. And issue 4 is going to be coming soon.
Yeah.
Sweet. Issue 4 is going to be coming soon, so follow Chris so that you can get all the details on when that drops. Again, Chris, I appreciate you for coming on here, letting me chat with you for a little bit and just pick your brain.
I appreciate you giving me the interview. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Until next time, everyone, this has been the Divergent Comics YouTube podcast. Have a good one.
All right, you too.